Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for a new album review. Again, for another new album review for Underoath, the place after this one that I got a chance to listen to for this over 36 and a half minute record to let you know what I was going to talk about in this review. So, I'm going to discuss from the 12 tracks I listened to during this 36-minute and 41-second record and let you know my thoughts on what I thought of it overall. So let's dive into this album review this afternoon. So it starts with Generation No Surrender, and it's a strong track for sure. I still enjoyed this track. When it came out in December, I was in love with this track already because I still think it's a banger. This track definitely rocked for sure. I think uh, Spencer Chamberlain sounds really good screaming vocal wise, and his shouting vocals were pretty solid too. But the screaming guttural vocals are the best aspect about this song, and the heaviness with the drum work and guitar work. This track went very wild, and it was a great song. So 5 out of 5. Devil is a pretty good song in its own way. It has some good screaming moments, but I just think it kind of stumbles a little bit, this track, when it does regular vocals and some weird mixing with the production. And the mixing can get a little weird at times that I don't know if I'm on board with this one, but I do like it to an extent. So this is a 4.75 out of 5. It's not a bad track. It's pretty good in its own way. So yeah, the next track is Loss, another strong track. I enjoyed the snippet when it came out for this track. It was 3 a.m. and I swear to God kind of thing and all that. Uh, so overall, this track amazed me with how well it was staying afloat, staying on point with the melody, with the verses, the chorus. The verses are the best part of it. The chorus is pretty strong too. So really enjoyed both Spencer and Aaron singing in this track. Even in Double, they sung pretty well in it. So pretty much 5 out of 5. Survivor's Guilt, pretty good song in its own way. It plays it a little safe, but I don't necessarily hate this. The drumming's pretty solid. The chorus is a little cheesy a bit. It's not terrible, but it's not the worst song on this record, but it is a least favorite along with Devil. So 4.75 out of 5. All the Love Is Gone has grown on me a lot. I actually enjoyed this track. It took quite a bit of time to grow on me. And after listening to it many times, I can say I love this track. This is probably one of my favorite songs on the record. When this song gets hyped up, or along with Generation No Surrender, I think as the fourth single, this track is definitely a strong track. So really enjoyed this one. It is a little experimental, but it's pretty good for how it sounds with the mixing and production. 5 out of 5. And then There Was Nothing is a 2 minute and 8 second track, but it is pretty strong for what it goes for. So I'd give this a 5 out of 5. Aaron Spencer's mostly screaming in this track and singing from time to time, shout singing. So pretty strong for how it is. And for only less than 2 minutes and 10 seconds, it's not too bad. 5 out of 5. Teeth has grown on me a lot more. It took quite a bit of time to grow on me because it was an experimental track, and I didn't know if I was gonna really feel for this track for how it was sounding. And give me a second, I gotta pause the video. Sorry about that, guys. My mom was interrupting again. She was asking me to do something. So, pretty much, Teeth is a strong track for how it sounded. I enjoyed Spencer Chamberlain's vocals, and also Aaron Gillespie singing from time to time was pretty solid. So really enjoyed the screaming parts in it too, closer to the end of the track. So and the drumming and how the mixing was in this track, a little bit experimental but still strong. So Teeth is a strong track, 5 out of 5. Shame is a good one too. I really enjoyed this one for how it sounded. Um, and overall, Spencer and Aaron singing in it were the highlights for this track. They both combined their vocals very well and harmonized very well with how they were singing this track. So this is a 5 out of 5 too. Spinning in Place is a strong track too for only 2 minutes and 26 seconds. You're in for quite a great song. And the track gets very catchy. It has some good moments with the chorus and the verses. So really enjoyed that aspect about this track, and most of the production and mixing was pretty strong. Vultures is a pretty strong track for sure. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like this, but it took a little bit of time and a little bit more progression to try to catch on with the song to see if I was gonna like it. But I do like it, and it's a 5 out of 5. Cannibal is a strong track too. I like both Aaron's vocals and Spencer's vocals from time to time in this track, and just the production and mixing was pretty strong, and also the drumming and how well the song was synced and played out did very well, in my opinion. So, very amazing track, 5 out of 5. And finally, we get to the closing track, Outsider, which is 4 minutes and 18 seconds, but not a bad outro to the record for this song. So, pretty much it's a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed the more mellow moments towards the end of the track, and just Spencer singing at the end of it was pretty solid. And just mostly this track had some good verse lyrics. The verses had good lyricism. It had great material. It was going forward with the production and the mixing, and it did very well with the drumming. So, really enjoyed this track. 5 out of 5. Overall production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Underoath, the place after this one, is a strong record. It is as good as Voyeuris. I think Voyeuris was one of my favorite records. I don't think it was as good as this one, but it still was strong of a release. And I think Underoath has gone into like more dark territory with some of their songs and some of their writing material, but still different kind of record. Voyeuris was their most darkest record. Keep in mind that was probably their darkest album and more meaningful record. This one is a strong one too, with how it tries to evolve its sound. Like the soundscape of this is so different from Voyeuris. It's not very dark. It's just has some dark lyrics, dark material, but still tries to have more lighter kind of songs from time to time. And to end off this record, the album closer was pretty strong for how it sounded. So if I were to give Underoath, the place after this one, a score, I'm feeling a strong 9.5 out of 10. Great record. Definitely recommend this album when it comes out at midnight tonight. It was well worth the listen, and I had a good time listening to it for under 37 minutes. You're in for a strong release. It's shorter than Voyeuris, but Voyeuris did have some great moments too. It just this and Voyeuris are the more darker toned kind of records, but this one had a little more lighter stuff. It had mixed dark moments and light moments with some of their material in this record. With the whole vibe and the atmosphere, kind of had its more dark and light moments, but overall, I think Voyeuris was their most darkest record and one they wanted to put out to a few years ago. That was probably Spencer Chamberlain was saying in an interview that it was something they don't want to do again because it was really dark. But this one did have its light and dark moments, but other than that, it stayed afloat. This record had a few hit or miss songs, but other than that, had more lighter tracks too that I could really get on board with. So 9.5 out of 10 for Underoath, the place after this one. Thank you for watching this album review this afternoon.